بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، حبيبي وحبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم محمد،
اللهم صل على محمد
وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المأسومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. صل على محمد. قال أمير المؤمنين علي عليه أفضل الصلاة وأتمها: إن تثبت الوطأة في هذه المزلة فذاك، وإن تدحض القدم فإنا كنا في أفياء أغصان ومهاب رياح وتحت ظل غمام، أدمحل في الجو متلفقها وعفى في الأرض مخطها، وإنما كنت جارا جاوركم بدني أياما، وستعقبون مني جثة خلاء ساكنة بعد حراق، وصامتة بعد نطق، ليعظكم هدوي وحفوت أطرافي وسكون أطرافي، فإنه أوعظ للمعتبرين من المنطق البليغ والقول المسموع، وداع لكم وداع امرئ مرصد، لألاقي غدا ترون أيامي ويكشف لكم عن سرائري. وصدق أمير المؤمنين علي عليه السلام. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. In continuation of this khutbah 148, which is before his martyrdom, the will of Imam Ali alayhi salam. And last week we spoke about the first part of the will. But just briefly, for our information, how does Muslim write a will? Where do I start, and what should it contain? If you recall, last week we mentioned that writing a will has two rules in Islam. Sometimes it's mustahab and sometimes it's wajib. And we said generally it's mustahab. It's not wajib. But it turns to wajib the moment you owe somebody something. Then it becomes wajib. Whether the one you owe is Allah or is human being, then it becomes wajib, that you have to write. And when I say you owe, it could be anything, even including mahar. I married a woman and we had mahar, and the mahar was mu'ajjal, because the mahar is two kind. You can give muqaddam and you can give mu'akhar. Muqaddam is to pay upfront. Mu'akhar is to pay later at demand. She never demands, right? And she never said, I forgive. If she forgive, that's fine. But if she never said, I forgive, even if you live 99 years together, you still owe the money. If I pass without writing the will, and the woman also is not forgiven, then they have to take from my money, pay the wife or the mother of my children before they distribute anything. That is if you owe a woman. Now, if I owe another person, a brother, a friend, a neighbor, the same thing applies. All right? So that is when writing will becomes wajib. Now, this will, it can be written into four parts. Part number one is called wajibul mali. Al-wajibul mali is the wajib that has to do with money. And this money, the first part, is also divided into two. It's either wajib al-mali, haqqullah, wajib al-mali, haqqun nas. I owe Allah, for example, khums. It's a wajib al-mali, but it has to do with Allah. I haven't paid my khums. It's wajib al-mali. I have to write in my will. No, my khums year is this specific date, but something happened, I can't pay it on time. I have to write it in my will. So that my children, my family knows that I owe Allah something. That's called wajibul mali. Or zakat is wajibul mali. Or nadhr, I vow to Allah, oh Allah, if you do ABC, I will give this amount of money. Then Allah did it for you, but you haven't paid it yet. And time is passed, I have to put it in the will. That's called wajibul mali for Allah. Now the second part, wajib al-mali haqqun nas, human being. I owe mortgage, it's one of them. I owe a car loan, that's one of them. I owe student loan, it's one of them. No, I took a loan from a friend, a brother, $100, $20, I have to put it in writing. That's called wajibul mali. That's the first part. Number two is called wajibul mali wal badani. The first one is just the money. The second part, money and the body. Another wajib. Now, what kind of wajib is that? For example, Hajj. Hajj, it requires two things. One is money, one is the body. Because when you go to Hajj, you have to do tawaf. You have to go to Jamarat. You have to go to Muzdalifah. So it requires money and there's expenses too. Now, Hajj, if at one point was wajib upon me and I didn't go, I have to write it in my will. There are some point in my life I was required to go to Hajj, but I didn't go for no good reason. Right? So I have to put in writing, and it's called wajibul mali wal badani. Now, another one, wajibul mali wal badani, but this one is also not wajib to begin, but if I made it wajib upon myself. Example, I say, Ya Allah, if so and so happen, I will go to ziyarah. Now ziyarah includes also what? Money and the body, because you have to be there. You have to go read the ziyarah. So if at some point I made that vow with Allah and that what came through, I have to. And that's called wajibul mali wal badi. That's number two. Number three, it's called al-wajibul badani. Al-wajib, that has to do only with the body, which is, there's no money involved. Example, salat. Now, if I miss salat at some point in my life, I have to write in my will that I'm missing this amount of years of salat, that I did not pray, right? Now, the children, they can hire somebody to do on my behalf, or I can ask them to take from my money and hire somebody to do those salat. I can do that, but I have to put in writing so they know that this is missing by our father. That's number three. Number four is called al-hiba al-amma. Al-hiba al-amma is a general gift of things I want to be done. Example, I want to give my sister X amount of money. I want to give my brother X amount of car or a house. Whatever I want to give. Sometimes it's not even a sister, a friend that has no relationship with me, but we have a good friendship. We grew up together. We were good friends. And I want to do something good for him after I pass. You can do that. And this doesn't have to be Muslim. They can be atheists. They can be Buddhists. They can be anything. You can put it in there. That is called al-hibal amma. Oh no, it's not something. My own children, I want to give something more for my children, for one of my children, because of one reason or another. You can do that too. Right? But this one, you have to do it within 1/3 of your wealth. The 2/3 have to stay untouched. Right? That is number four. Now, that's number four. Number five, which is also addition. This is also an optional. These are things you want to be done. Has nothing to do with money. For example, I want this alim to lead my janazah. I want this person to put me in the grave. I want this person to do my talqeen. I want this person to lead my janazah. I don't want this person to come. You can write it too. That's your choice. That's your right. I don't want this person to touch my body during my janazah. That's your right. Islam has given you this. Right? And these are all details that Islam has allowed us to utilize if we want. Right? But here in Imam Ali alayhi salam, he is giving general advice to all mankind. Because when you look at the khutbah, Ya ayyuhan nas, all mankind. Right? Now the part of this khutbah, the second part, Imam Ali alayhi salam, he is talking about what is going to happen in the future. And he says, إن ثبتت الوتعة في هذه المزلة, which means if the foot remains firm in this slippery place. What does it mean, slippery place? This world. This world is the most dangerous place. As you know, we came from different worlds and we were great in alam al-arwah. No sin, no shaitan, no disobedience. Then we migrated from alam al-arwah to the second world, which is called alam al-aslab. We are great, no sin, no disobedience, no shaitan. Then we migrated from that world to alam al-arham, to our mother's womb. Also great, like ma'soom, no disobedience to Allah. Right? Then from alam al-arham, we came to alam al-shahada, this world. And this is the most dangerous one. And that is why our ulama, they said, one of the reasons why when a baby is born crying, because the baby senses the danger of arriving this world. That so far, I was good in alam al-arwah. I was good in alam al-aslab. I was good in alam al-shahada. Now I am in the most dangerous world that I don't know. How am I going to turn in this world? Am I going to be good? Am I going to be bad? How am I going to turn? I'm coming as a good, no doubt about it. But how am I going to leave this world? That is where the child is crying. Right? Now, here this Imam Ali said, this world, if the foot of a person was able to stay firm, which is, you stay on the what you confirm with Allah in those worlds, which is what? Shahadat Allah ilaha illallah, anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, wa anna Aliyan Amirul Mu'minin. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. If I'm able to confirm this, practically live in this world, then I'm good. But if I slipped, that's what Imam Ali says. If a person is not able, right, in this world, and he gets slipped, and Imam Ali alayhi salam, he said, if the foot remains firm in this slippery place, he said, we well and good. But if the foot slips in these, it's because we are under the shade of branches. Because there is always two things in this world. Either you slip or you stay firm. It's like when we go to the market, either you gain or you lose. Either your items get sold and you make good money and you come home happy, or your item is not sold. It's all being brought back. Because this world is the world of trade. Either you gain or you lose. Imam Ali alayhi salam say the same thing in this world. Slippery or you get firm in this world. Imam Ali alayhi salam, then he continues. He said, the passing of the wind and the canopy of the clouds, which layers are dispersed in the sky. Imam Ali alayhi salam described this world like an open place with a lot of trees and branches and a lot of leaves. But it's up to you how you walk in that part. The same world that we live in, there is a lot of shayateen, a lot of dangers. Now it's up to me, how am I going to live in this world? Am I going to be careful with those shaitans and be firm with the teaching of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so that I don't get eaten by those satans? Like when you live in the jungle where there's all lions around you, tigers, right? Now how do you going to live in that part of the world? Very careful, because you know there are animals who can attack all the time. Now the same thing with the satans in this world that Imam Ali alayhi salam reminding us about the danger of this world. Then Imam Ali alayhi salam, he continued to say, I was your neighbor. And Imam Ali is talking to the people of his time. He said, remember one thing. Right now, I'm your neighbor. We live together. We pray together. We sit together. We learn together. We do things together. We're neighbors right now. Right? Imam Ali says, he says, I was your neighbor. And then he says, my body kept you company for some days. Here is a very deep words Imam Ali is talking about. My body as company. You know what that means? My soul is not here. The body is with you, but my mind, my heart, and my soul is where? With Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. My body, he says, my body is with you, but my mind, my thinking is not about this dunya. It's all about where? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imam Ali says, so he says here, he says, and my body, Imam Ali says, my body kept you company for some days, and shortly you will find just an empty body of mine. Someday will come, it will be just a body. Which means when somebody dies, it becomes what? A body. No ruh. The same thing, every one of us, today we get called by our names. The moment you die, you're not going to be called by name. What do we call? Marhum. What do we call? Janaza. Right? That's the name. Now it's no longer Abdul Jalil. It's no longer Muhammad. It's no longer Ali. And now it's called Janaza. Why? Because the body has lost the ruh. So now it's just an empty body. That's what Imam Ali says. Imam Ali alayhi salam, it will be only my empty body of mine which will be stationary after all movement. It will be stationary. It will be just stand still. Cannot move. Cannot do anything. That body cannot even move a flyer from the body. Today, if a flyer comes and lands on your body, you can try to kill it. Try to get it away. Right? But when we die, what happens? Nothing. Cannot move. Everything has to be done. A person who goes and takes shower for himself, he has to be washed. A person who clothes themselves, somebody has to clothe them. A person who walks to get to the car and drive themselves, no, somebody has to drive them. Somebody who always get out of the car on their own to go to their errands, no, somebody has to lift them to the grave. That is what Imam Ali alayhi salam is reminding us. And then he says, now only empty body of mine, which will be stationary after all its movement and silent after the speech. The body cannot speak afterwards. Now, the ruh does speak, not the body. Imam Ali said the body. The ruh talks. Even after the person dies, the ruh is still speaking. The ruh can still hear. The ruh can still see. But the body, no. The ability of seeing is taken away. The ability of speech is taken away. The ability of movement is taken away. But the ruh can do all of that. It can hear, sees, as a matter of fact, speaks to all of people around that dead body. But the body cannot speak at that point, Imam Ali says. And not only that, he says silent after the speech, so that my calmness. Then Imam Ali said, the closing of my eyes, the eyes becomes closed. Yes, never will be open again until the day of Qiyamah. The eyes that get open to look at things, danger, nice, good things, a day comes, no, it will not be open again. Until the day of Qiyamah, Imam Ali says, he said, then after the eye, Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says, okay, the closing of my eyes and the stillness of my limbs may provide you counsel, may remind you something, may give you some lessons. Because really, like the Prophet said in one of the hadith, he said, Kafa bil mawti wa'idhan. He said, if there is nothing to warn, remind, He said death is enough to be a reminder for everybody. If Allah didn't send Quran, there is no Ahlul Bayt, just death. It's enough. Because if you look at the person, you do things all the time. Whether it's a father, or a son, or a husband, or a wife, or a friend that you grew up together, you live together. You see, you do everything together. And a day comes, he cannot do anything. Isn't that something to think about? Not only that, the same person who always doesn't want certain things, now a day comes, he cannot even say anything. Isn't that a lesson? That's what Imam Ali alayhi salam is reminding us. Imam Ali alayhi salam, he continued to say also, not only that, it's because it is more of counsel for those who take a lesson from it. Death is a lesson. For whom? For those who want to take a lesson from it. Because this is not something that for some and not for others. It's for everybody. Everybody, whether you like it or not, it's going to come. Whether I hate it or not, it's going to come anyway. Doesn't matter. And it comes at a time where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not tell you and I when it's coming. But we have to prepare for it. That's what Imam Ali alayhi salam says. Like Alexander the Great, as great as he was, they said when he was dying, he asked that as they taken him to the grave, he wants his arms out of the coffin. He doesn't want his body to be all in the coffin. Then somebody asked him, why? Normally when somebody dies, the body, everything is straightened in the coffin. He said, I want to send a message to people. He said, what is the message? He said, I want the people to know that as they think about me, great person, great man, I want them to learn that I came empty-handed and I'm going back to my grave empty-handed. I am not taking anything. And even if you choose to take it, it's not going to be beneficial. Let's say I say, no, I want my credit card with me in the grave. Okay, they can put it. But when are you going to use it? I want my car with me in the grave. Like they say in Africa, one man was very rich and he has a car that was his favorite. And he says, when I die, I want me to be buried with my car. Okay. And they bury him with his car too. But the question is, where are you going to drive the car to? What benefit would the car make in the grave? Nothing. Right? So even if you choose that I want this and this with me in my grave, it's not going to benefit anything. Right? So that's what Imam Ali alayhi salam is reminding us. And he says also, he says because it's more of counsel for those who take lessons from it than the eloquent speech. And absolutely it's true. You know, to see the death is more admonition than to see somebody giving you an eloquent speech. You know why? Because they say action speaks louder than the words. Because when you see action, somebody there versus somebody is talking, now the action speaks more louder than the words. That's what Imam Ali is saying. Imam Ali alayhi salam, he continued to say, I am departing from you like one who is eager to meet someone. Allahu Akbar. Only Imam Ali can say these words. I'm leaving this world and I am eager to go meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, most of us is opposite. You know, we don't want to die. We don't want to leave. But Imam Ali said, I'm eager to depart from this world. And that's why you understand when he says, my body was your neighbor's. My soul, my spirit is always there. So here he says, I'm eager to depart this world. That is why you see Imam Ali, when he got struck on this head while he was in the salah, what did he say? He said, Fuztu wa Rabbil Kaaba. I am successful. I swear by the Lord of the Kaaba. Who can say this other than Imam Ali alayhi salam? So Imam Ali alayhi salam, he said, I'm eager to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Imam Ali alayhi salam, he said, tomorrow you will look at my days. Tomorrow means like today. You will go back and see my life. What did I do? What did I didn't do? Like we do today. Sit and talk about Imam Ali's life, his speeches, his salat, his taqwa, his those things that he lived this life. Imam Ali said, and he says, then my inner side will be disclosed to you. And my inner side, Imam Ali alayhi salam, he said, will be disclosed to you. And then he says, as Imam Ali alayhi salam, he continued to say, وَيَكْشِفْ لَكُمْ أَنْ سَرَائِرِ, and you get to know my secret of my lives. Because a lot of time, things happen in the life of Imam Ali. People were not able to understand, why did Imam Ali do that? Why did those things happen? But today, as we sit and analyze, we understand them. I give an example. Imam Ali alayhi salam, as he was walking one day, and he looked at the water, and he said, I wish I had a time, I would have made a light from this water. And that was it. People of that time, they couldn't understand what he meant. They said, what? Make a light from water? How? Nobody didn't explain. Today, our electricity, where does it come from? From water. That's what Imam Ali meant. But back in those days, people didn't understand what Imam Ali meant. But today, we understand. And as time goes on, there are some speeches that we read today, we cannot grasp and understand exactly what he meant. But the people in the future will understand even better. With the technology, with the understanding, with the knowledge, they get to understand more than we do today. As we do today, more than the people who were at the time of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Imam Ali alayhi salam, he said that is exactly what will happen when that time comes. Imam Ali alayhi salam, he continues it, وَتَعْرِفُونَنِي بَعْدَ خُلُوِّ مَكَانِ. Imam Ali alayhi salam, he said, then after that, you get to understand me after vacation of my place. You know who I am after I depart. You know, normally, we don't know the value of people until they become absent. Whether in a family, sometimes children, they don't know the value of the father or the mother. The mother will say something, they will not listen. The father, but the day they depart, whether they travel or they die, then they start to realize the importance of those people. Sometimes at work, sometimes somewhere, we don't understand the value of somebody until they're gone. Imam Ali said the same thing. He said, then you will remember and know my importance among you. But when? After I depart. Imam Ali said. And then he said the last word of this khutbah, he says, وَقِيَامُ غَيْرِ مَكَانِ. And not only that, and when the place is occupied by someone else. What I do, you would not value it. You know, and exactly that's what happened. That Imam Ali alayhi salam, when he was there, he was the only one who would say, Saluni qabla an tafqiduni. After Imam Ali alayhi salam left, who was there to able to say that? Imam Ali alayhi salam, he was the one who will go to all the orphanages and go to the widows and go to the needies and make sure that everybody is fed. After he left, whoever cares about those poor people? Nobody. That's when people realize the importance of Imam Ali alayhi salam. And this is reality. That sometimes things are not known until it's gone. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to learn from these messages and lessons and apply it in our life. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Salli ala Muhammad.
Sisters have any questions?
Yes, please. Yes.
If we don't remember how much we miss, how can we calculate that?
Sometimes it happens. The question is, in fasting or prayer, sometimes you don't remember exact, especially at the early age, you know, it missing. Now, what one can do is to at least give estimation. Like, I think between 5 and 6 years, for example. Or I think between 2 and 3 years. All right? Whatever you think, you go with that. But if you can, ihtiyat, precaution, if it's between, you think between 2 and 3, and you make it 3.5. So that way you're sure that you covered the even extra part, then that is better. But you don't have to. What you have to do is to estimate whatever you think is missing, you just go with that, and that will be sufficient. Yes.
As a compensation for the missing of Salat, what monetary denomination would this fall under? Is it calculated by each Salat that's missed by the amount that you should pay? Understand what I'm saying? In other words, if let's say you miss 1,000 days
Of Salat.
yes,
Yes.
how much should you pay for 1,000 days?
For Salat, as a person misses, it depends on the person you're trying to ask to do it. You know, it's between them. It's like when I have a job, I hire somebody, I say, how much you going to charge me to fix my roof? All right, okay, I'll charge you $1,000. Some might charge less, some might charge more. All right, so normally it depends between the person who's going to do it and the person who is asking him to do. Now, if he asks less or more or whatever, it's between the two people. Islam does not put a specific amount that this is amount that you have to pay somebody to be able. Now, sometimes you can get somebody to say, I volunteer, I'll do it free. Then you don't even have to pay anything. All right? Like the older son says, I will pray for my father. I don't have to hire anybody. Then there's no money involved. All right? Or no, the children come and say, no, we will share the prayers. I will pray 4 months, you pray 1 year, you pray, and they divide. There's no money involved. Right? So there's no specific amount. But I can tell you, the cheapest way to go is to go to the house of students. In Najaf and Qom, because they're suffering more, so they will take less and do a lot of those jobs. So that is an idea. Inshallah.
If somebody is leaving some money in the will, that probably the question was, how should we estimate to leave that much amount for qada?
The estimation is to ask the people who are involved. It's like the expert in that field. Like, for example, normally, how much do they charge for 1 year of salah? Right? Some people might charge $500. Some people might charge $800. So if it's 2 years based on $500, then it becomes $1,000. If every year is $500, then two years will be $1,000. If some people charges maybe, for example, $1,000, then the 2 years will be $2,000. And then you can take that amount and put aside and have that as the salat of years that is missing. Yes.
Anybody else has any question?
I will ask
Yes, please.
about your yesterday's khutbah and Jummah prayer.
Yes.
And you explained very nicely Surah Al-Ma'idah. And you mentioned the sacrifice of Habil and
Qabil. Yes.
And the point which I just want to ask you to elaborate a little bit more. One person, he had animals.
Yes.
The other person, he has got farm
Yeah.
produce.
Right.
Animal got accept.
Yes.
Produce was not.
Yes.
We see in the following, the history that wherever the sacrifice was done by humans, by Prophet Ibrahim, it was substituted by an animal,
Right.
not by a produce or a corn or something. So, is meat or animal is the preferred way of putting sacrifice for
Okay.
this purpose, or some substitute can be made?
Right. Generally, one of the lessons from this story of Habil and Qabil that makes sense more to me from my readings is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made them to make these two different sacrifices because we are not all equal in things. Sometimes I own, for example, companies. Somebody owns a different company. Somebody owns animals. Somebody owns farms. but either one you can sacrifice. Meaning, I don't have to have animal to sacrifice. I don't have to have a farm for only to sacrifice. No, which means whatever Allah has provided you, you can sacrifice from that. Now, I'll give you an example. Sometimes I don't even have a farm. I don't have an animal. I don't have anything. But I can sacrifice my time. Volunteer. Clean the masjid. Pick up some things. Drop some things. That's also my sacrifice. And Allah is going to accept that. Right? Now, the farm also can be sacrificed as well. Now, when you go to the Quran in Surah Al-Qalam, there is a story Allah shares with us about a man who had a farm. And he was always sacrificing with his farm. That his farm, he always divided into three. 1/3 is for him to sell and make money for himself and his family. The second 1/3 is for him and his family to eat. The third part is for all the poor people in the neighborhood. And he will ask them to come and eat and take as much as they want from the 1/3. And that was his custom throughout his life until the day he died. When he died, his children, they thought they're so smart. They said, our dad is not bright. How dare you going to give in 1/3 of your wealth to the poor people? From the night the father died, they made that intention. We will not open the door for any poor person. It's in Surah Al-Qalam. Right? Now, the night the father died, they decided they're going to run and close all the doors. By the time they get there, the farm, they lost. They couldn't find it. They look around, they couldn't recognize the farm. And by the way, this is the farm they went, and with years they were going back and forth with their father. Right? But you know what happened? Allah destroyed the entire farm by just making intention to drive away those poor people from it. And Allah says, إِنَّا بَلَوْنَاهُمْ كَمَا بَلَوْنَا أَصْحَابَ الْجَنَّةِ إِذَا أَقْسَمُوا لَيَسْرِمُنَّهَا مُصْبِحِينَ وَلَا يَسْتَثْنُونَ فَطَافَ عَلَيْهَا طَائِفٌ مِّن رَبِّكَ وَهُمْ نَائِمُونَ. Allah said, we destroyed when they were asleep. In the morning, by the time they got there, it's gone. Right? So Allah was accepting the father's gift from the farm. Right? But it is mentioned that one of the best sacrifice that Allah loves is to be animal. Animal is the best way Allah loves for a person to sacrifice. I can sacrifice a time. I can sacrifice a farm. I can sacrifice money. I can. But the best of all is the animal. That Allah loves to sacrifice. To see a servant sacrifice an animal more than any other thing.